All right, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the live stream for what I would say is probably one of the most exciting elections that we've had in a while. I mean, the New Jersey and the Virginia ones were really exciting, but this one seems to be probably the most gripping of all of them. I mean, we didn't even know that this was on the radar, and then all of a sudden, people started looking at the primary vote turnout and saying, "Hey, listen." A lot of Republicans didn't vote in the primary, and a lot of Democrats did in this district. So maybe Tennessee is the one to watch. And, here we are, right? And polls come out showing that it's very, very close. Anyone that's making a projection or a prediction as to, I guess I shouldn't say projection, we really have no data except the early voting data. And anyone that's saying that it is going to be won by this person, they don't know. We don't know what happened on election day. We don't know what's happening right now on election day, and so on. So we'll see what happens. We just have no clue. I do see that I still have the chat box up there. I'm going to go ahead and hide that and just have the chat over in my chat for tonight. So, yeah, anyone saying that we know what's going to happen tonight, we have no clue. Okay, we don't know what election day was like. I've been trying to find stuff regarding election day, cannot find any numbers. The only thing I saw was on one of the Nashville channels at about noon, showing a very slow pace in one of the Franklin precincts, which would be down in Williamson County. So if you're the Democrats, that looks good, but that's just very anecdotal. It's not any numbers whatsoever. So we still have time to look at this. We still need to figure out what's going to go on. We do not know. But we will talk. And I came on a little bit earlier today to talk about what we should be looking for, what's going on, and what numbers what looks good for the Democrats and Republicans. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. We're going to look at New York Times today as far as the election results, but I also have the Tennessee Secretary of State's numbers down here just in case theirs come in first. And then I have the county breakdowns that we have here. Okay, so we'll look at those. I also have Davidson County up here in case their numbers come in a little bit faster than what we have at the state website or the New York Times website. So we'll go ahead and talk about this. Now, the one thing I want to talk about is how this is, and I mentioned it in a post earlier today, this is an R plus 10 seat. Everyone's saying it's an R plus 20 seat. It is not. If there were a 22% swing toward the Democrats, then the Democrats would win it by 11%, right? The whole way the Cook Partisan Voting Index works is that it takes the amount of votes that the winning candidate for president, in this case Donald Trump, got in overall in nationwide and then in the district, and compare what the differences are. So for example, Donald Trump probably got 49% nationwide and he got 59% in the 7th congressional district, making it a plus 10. But we also have to remember that 100% is 100%. There's not 110, 20, 30% of the votes. So as one candidate loses, another candidate gains. So for example, if somebody, let's say a race is 60-40, which we essentially have here, okay, as it goes down, the other one comes up. So if it becomes 58, then it becomes 42. So this means it's technically a 10% swing that is actually needed to win the election, not a 20, because when we say it's a plus 22 district, which unfortunately I think the district I live in is actually a plus 22 district, it might be a plus 26, the Illinois 12th, which by the way was held by a Democrat not too long ago. Bob Enyart held it, 2012, 2013. So yeah, so the Democrats need to gain 10%. So it's an R plus 10. Okay, so I want to go over what Vote Hub has here. And by the way, I just we're gonna look over Vote Hub, but I guess just a few plugs before I go. If you like Substack and you're on Substack, I actually have my own Substack. Go ahead and subscribe to that. It is voting trend at substack.com. You can find it down in the description below. And I talk about how the term socialism is not going to work with Afton Bain because, as I mentioned in this article, in the South, socialism means Black, African American. Okay. It's always been a racial dog whistle. Okay. And for somebody looking like this, it just doesn't work as well. So I think the whole socialist communist attacks just do not have any teeth anymore. I'm also on Blue Sky here. So you can go over to, so I guess, let's see, what is I just got on Blue Sky not that long ago. So it's Dave Trotter at Blue Sky. Yeah, I can't even talk tonight. Blue Sky or bsky.social. So you can go ahead and join me there. So let's go ahead and look at what VoteHub, who's been doing an excellent job in the New Jersey, Virginia, and this Tennessee race. They've done an excellent job. Let's go ahead and look at what they say. So they've analyzed it and say Democrats are punching above their weight. And we'll get into the numbers in a second and show what that is. Okay. Now, what they're saying here, estimated two-party presidential margin amongst 2025 early voters. Okay. Now, I do not know if they have the voter file and know how people are voting and using it at the precinct level. Well, they do have precinct level data. We'll go ahead and delve into that. They do, I forgot, have precinct level data right here. We'll delve into that in a second. But anyway, they're saying of those people who have voted right now in early voting in 2025, where they have voted and the likelihood of how they would vote, that Trump would gain 5%. Okay. So what we're saying right now is based on historical election data. If all the people who voted up to now, what would the result be? It would be about 5% for Trump. Okay, or 5% maybe for the Republican candidates. And then you can see they estimate the 95 range. This is 3 standard deviations of the mean. So it's just a confidence interval. They're saying Trump would get the highest at 14.3 and Harris the highest at 2.5. So what they're saying here is, according to the votes that have been cast so far, you can, if this were a rehash of the presidential election, it could range anywhere from Trump winning by 14.3% to Harris winning by 2.5%. That is a big standard deviation, honestly. Okay, so that's pretty huge. So that's what we're looking at right now with early votes. Now, if we go to, let's start off with the counties first. And let's start off, we're not going to really look at the map. We're going to look at this turnout by margin 2024 margin. So what is this that we have down here? What we have down here is a chart that says what percentage of the vote to the 2024 vote that there is. It's not about overall voter turnout. So for example, let's say a county has 100,000 voters. And in 2024, it had a 60% turnout rate. Okay, so that means 60,000 voters. And then according to this, if it says, 50% turnout, according to this, that means 30,000 voters. 30,000 of the 60,000 have already shown up to vote. It's not 50% of the 100,000. It's not the overall turnout numbers. Now, I don't know if you can see these, and you can't according to my screen that I see over there, and I don't know how to show these on Streamlabs, excuse me. But here you have Davidson County first, and it's the outlier Democratic county, and it is at 28% turnout of the 2024 numbers. Now down here, interestingly, you have Montgomery County, which is at 23% turnout. Now this is all on the right. These are more Kamala Harris precincts. On the left, these are more Donald Trump precincts. Okay, so 0 is right here. This would mean that the county or precincts are tied 50-50. Anything over here, voted for Trump. This is 20%, 40%, 60%, 80% margin. Okay. Now, one thing that we have seen in both Virginia and in New Jersey, we've really seen the rural counties not have that much swing. Okay. So the rural counties have been pretty strongly Republican. And I think we're going to expect that today. The question is, how much of an impact do they have? So, anyways, we have Davidson County here, which is at 28% of their 2024 votes. Of course, that's a presidential year. It's not going to get to 100%. Though, when we were watching Virginia, we were seeing certain counties and certain cities hit nearly or hit their actual 2024 vote turnout. Over here in Montgomery County, 23.4% of those people who voted in 2024 have voted now. Then we get to some more Republican counties, and this is where you get a little bit worried. Williamson County is this county right here. So Williamson County has had a 30.5% turnout of their 2024 vote. The good thing for Afton Bain is she only won one county in the primary, and it was Williamson County. So maybe she's been able to really bring down the margins there. And then if we go over here, we got Cheatham County, which is 30% turnout. Now, if I'm the Republicans, there are two counties that I'm really worried about. One is Dixon County, which actually is right here. It's only at 22% turnout. The other one is Robertson County at 19.5% turnout. So, yeah. So in this situation, what is this? Let's go over to the precincts here. This really brings it out well. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing that there's no, I mean, it would be nice if they actually had, a regression analysis here to see how linear this is. And it's obviously going in the Democratic direction. But what we're seeing here are the bigger Democratic precincts having higher turnout rates, and the Republican smaller precincts over here having lower turnout rates. Why is this important? Okay. It could mean if we're looking at a total shift and these numbers over here are indicating that there's a total shift, it means that these kind of light red and pink ones here could be blue by the end of the night. So I don't know if we'll get any precinct results, but here, Williamson Precinct 11-4. Okay, had a margin of 2.3% for Donald Trump. This is the precinct I am going to be looking at because the turnout is higher. This precinct right here, Williamson 11.4, that's the one that I want to see how it performs. Does this go strongly for Afton Bain? If it does, then she's going to be in a good position. So what can we see tonight? What do we have? We have a half hour. Okay. So there are a few scenarios that can happen. And this is why we can't really predict who's going to win. The first scenario is that it is near status quo. Okay. That Van Epps wins it by, let's say, 7 or 8%. Okay. Or technically, probably he wins it by a 10% gap. Okay, 55-45. I think that it will be lower, but Van Epps could win it by that. So people are saying we hope that we can keep the Republicans within single digits. That's what you're going to be looking for, 55-45. That's the first thing that could happen. The second thing that could happen is that we are having stronger Democratic turnout in Republican areas. Because you got to remember, these precincts that we have right here, I mean, yeah, they're Republican precincts, but there are a lot of Democrats too. The one thing that we saw in particularly New Jersey, and it was easy to see it there because they register by party, is that Republicans just didn't turn out in early voting. Because remember, I was saying, if you went back and saw what I was saying during the New Jersey election and the early votes, I said one of the prerequisites for New Jersey to go Republican is that the Republicans needed to be ahead in early in-person voting, and they never got there. As a matter of fact, the gap widened as well. So these are the precincts, mostly in Williamson County, that we are going to maybe see. Well, Williamson, I mean, here, let me go to the counties again. So, I mean, Williamson and Montgomery. Okay, this is where they're going to be won or lost. Like I said, bring down the margins in Williamson and Montgomery, run up the turnout in Nashville. That's got to be the game for Afton Bain. Now, the third thing that we could be seeing, and something that I poo-pooed on during the last election, I was right in the last election, but this election I've mentioned is a bit different. We can start seeing people go from voting for Trump to voting for Afton Bain. Now, let me remind people here that elections aren't static, okay? Tennessee isn't a Republican state and is going to stay Republican for the next 1,000 years, okay? Elections have different dynamics, different, consequences, different candidates, different messages, and states change, okay? I mean, look at West Virginia. Michael Dukakis won West Virginia. It was Democratic until 2000 when George Bush won it. Now it's the most Republican state that there is. Voters change. Voting habits change. This could be the indication of a change. So when people say, that this state is Democratic or this state is Republican or this county is Democratic or Republican, yes, for now, but things change. And we've seen this evidence. We've seen it. And I know I'm beating this like a dead horse, but I've mentioned it a number of times in my videos, which is in the Florida 1st Congressional District, we saw more registered Republicans vote than the amount of votes that the Republican candidate got there. So that meant a huge chunk of registered Republicans voted for the Democrat. And that was a special election as well. So now we got less than a half hour until the numbers come in. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's happening on election day. From all indications I've been able to see, it's been kind of slow, which helps Afton Bain. Now, if you go ahead and look at my video my last regular video that I did, you will see that I talked about election day numbers. And the election day numbers are, when we look at the election day numbers, they're not as Republican as you might think. So if we look at the Republican primary, 51% of Republican primary voters turned out on election day. It wasn't 50, 60, or 70%. And for the Democrats, it was like 44.6%. So there will be a Republican bump on election day, but there's not going to be as big of a Republican bump as we expect. And the exact same thing happened in Virginia and in New Jersey. We're not seeing those bumps. So we are starting to see kind of an evening out of voting methods. Okay. It's no longer, it's no longer just, if they're voting early, there must be Democratic. If they're voting on election day, it must be a Republican. No, things are starting to even out. And remember, in Tennessee too, very few people vote by mail, because it is an excuse. You need an excuse to vote. Like you're out of the country, you're serving overseas, you're in a hospital or something like that. You actually need that. So the vote by mail numbers are around 2%. Very, very low. Okay, so we got some people giving super chats. Thank you very much. Let me go ahead and answer those real quick. Thank you for your work. I like how deep you analyze. Greetings from Belgium. Thank you very much, fellow Europeans. So last week, I did not post it all because I was in Canada getting my Slovak citizenship. I am now a citizen of Slovakia, so fellow EU citizen, and in Belgium too, out of all places, the most EU of EU countries. Thank you very much. All right, and we got another one down here. It looks like Daniel. I can't see, but you've super chatted before. Thank you very much, David. What will it take to go? Okay, what will it take to go some of the solid or likely Republican states to move more blue on the federal and state level? I feel like the DNC doesn't even try to put forth the right candidates. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, the day after, I want to look at what the swing is in today's election and see how many districts can swing. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and give you a preview. Now, I'm going to put this in here. So this was a map that I made, and what this map is if the Democrats were able to swing the election results from 2024 by 5%, just 5%, in each of the congressional districts, this is what we would have. If the Democrats just move the electorate 5%, Democrats would have 245 House districts to the Republicans 190. Okay, so that's coming attractions for tomorrow. That is a 1% or 5% swing. Okay, so yeah, so that is that's coming attractions. But I am going to disagree a little bit, because as someone who has been involved with Democratic politics since 1991, I don't like what Ken Martin did with, David Hogg and all that, but I am seeing the Democrats do something that they have never done before. And we're seeing them get involved in the Miami mayor's race, which is next week. We're going to be doing a live stream for that as well. So yeah, I mean, so what the Democratic Party is doing right now is focusing on smaller races. The Democratic Party for years were just like presidential, Senate, triple deal with the House races, but it'll just be the lower House races, right? But now you're seeing Democrats get involved in state House, state Senate seats. It'll be interesting to see what the National Party does in the Texas, what is that, the 9th state Senate district in Denton, in Tarrant County, which is going to be in January. You have them involved with this special election. You have them involved in Miami. I'm going to say that the DNC is actually getting more involved with local races, which has been the biggest problem. The reason we have a Republican anything right now and all the gerrymandering is that the Democratic Party in the 1990s absolutely abandoned the state House and state Senate races. They absolutely abandoned county commission races, school commissioner races, and everything. I'm seeing them actually trying to, make a little bit of an effort here. Here's another super chat. Thank you, Brian Phelps. Okay, thank you so much for, glad to see you back for another election night and get your analysis on the situation. You're welcome. I will be doing this more. Now, I think for a lot of people, and I'll admit this, I think for a lot of people after 2024. So my views on this channel just dropped like a brick, and they're still nowhere near what they used to be, but I'm hoping to build this channel up again. So, but I think after 2024, a lot of us were down and out with when it came to the election. And I think these recent election results have kind of, for many of us, put a little pep in our step to be able to talk about these things again. I mean, we'll see what happens tonight. Do I think Afton Bain can win? Yes. Do I think she will win? I don't know. Okay. But I do have to say, where has the Republican bright spot been? Where has been the big Republican win since Donald Trump has taken over? And is this a rejection of Donald Trump, or is it that Donald Trump's voters are mostly just cult members, and if the dear leader isn't on the ballot, they just don't show up? Okay, Metal Gamer, thank you very much. Go from Trump defeat. So what? It is an upgrade. I mean, I'm sorry. It is. It's not the greatest upgrade, but it is an upgrade nonetheless. So yeah. Actually, I don't know if I'll be moving to Slovakia, but I might get involved with the Progressive Party in Slovakia. Actually, now that I can, vote. And someone saying this 100% about Trump. I don't think so. I think it's 100% about affordability. Okay. People can't afford things. I was watching the Nashville news. I was watching this one lady who just came out of the polls, and she says, I can't afford anything. I don't have the same money that Trump does. This is about affordability. This is about people not being able to pay rent. This is about people not being able to afford things. And this is where Joe Biden, fucked up a year ago. He didn't realize affordability was the issue. And this is where Kamala Harris and Walz screwed up too, because they didn't realize that this was about affordability. This is 100% about affordability. Okay. I mean, I'm looking right now. I've been looking at apartments in Paris. Okay. I can get a cheaper apartment in Paris than in friggin' Salt Lake City. And it's just so weird because like nobody really ever notices this, realizes this. Um, okay, so yeah, so I mean, now we're at the point of just waiting to see what happens. Let's go over the district specifically. I wish I didn't have this here, but let's kind of look at what we're looking at tonight. Hey Matt, here's Matt from a good old Largo where he knows about affordability. The wildlife of running a local race in Largo while also having your Canadian citizenship backup plan. Yep. So, oh, hold on. Matt's thing is, I got to scroll back up to it. Good news is we might actually field a group of us to challenge at least 2 to 3 Republican incumbents plus 1 Democratic left. So awesome. Awesome. So Matt is down in Pinellas County. Matt and I know each other, known each other for a few years now, right, Matt? So, if you want to talk about somebody who's been banging the drum of affordability for years, um, Matt has done that in Largo, and I think Pinellas County is definitely one of those places where affordability is an issue. Obviously, the whole state of Florida. So yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and look at, okay, what should we expect tonight? So we have 15 minutes until some results might come in. Now, I've tried to look at old election results and see if we can expect a huge dump of early votes. Looking at 2024, it doesn't look like Tennessee does a huge dump of early votes. Like they already have them counted and just do a huge dump. They might do it this time, but it indicates to me that they might count early votes the same time they count the precinct level votes, election day votes. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it does seem like that's the case. We'll see when that comes. But let's go ahead and break down the district. Now, most of the southern part of the district here is Republican. Okay. Now, where are the most Democratic areas? Obviously, Nashville. Now, I don't have the district map here, but Nashville, it mostly has parts of North Nashville and then across the river here and into this area, north of North Nashville. It does not have East Nashville, even though East Nashville here, I think that's where Afton Baines district actually is. It does not have East Nashville, and that's unfortunate. East Nashville is kind of like the younger progressive voters who have moved there in the last few years that are really going to be hit by affordability. Those are the ones. Whereas you get down here into North Nashville and into Nashville, you get down here into Musicians Row and other places, very liberal places. And then you get down into this part of Nashville here. I don't think this part is included, the Oak Hill area, but other places here might be. Oh, so somebody, another super chat. Thank you. Hey, they are trying to get rid of dual citizenship. Good. I mean, here's the thing about the well, we'll talk about this and I'll bring up the dual citizenship, but I'm just going to say really quick, the 14th Amendment should cover me. I was born here. All right. So this is where the Democrats need to really pump up the votes. Now, when we look at Clarksville is this is the county we're going to look at. If early votes come in early and they do a dump, and if Afton Bain is winning in Montgomery County after that dump, she's in good position. She's in real good position at that point. And then, because then chances are the Davidson County dump will, if they do a early vote dump, then she should be ahead by a bit. Montgomery County is the one to watch tonight. So you have Clarksville here. You have up by the Air Force base up here, where I think is it an Army base or an Air Force base? It's an Army base. It's where I think it's where the 101st Airborne is. Up here, you see Democratic areas, and a lot of these areas are actually kind of upper middle income areas in this northern part of Clarksville going down into the city. And then you do have some kind of older, kind of ish Republican areas. But you can see in and around the actual city of Clarksville itself, you don't really have it like hugely Republican. But then as soon as you get over the river here, and I believe this is the Cumberland River, as soon as you get over it, it just becomes deep red. Now, where are the real deep red areas you need to look at? Well, Dixon is the one that I'm looking at. I want to see how Dixon goes, because if we look at Dixon County in the last election, we see it was at 73%. If this thing is under 60%, that's going to be interesting. If it's around 65%, if Dixon County's around 65%, it's going to be a very close race, or Afton Bain's going to win. So Dixon County is a place where they're going to look to get a lot of votes. And then you also have, just keeping in this area, you have Franklin here, which is Williamson County. Okay, so Williamson County is another one. Afton Bain won it in the primary, and it is very Republican. You can see here 67, 71%, 68. But in and around Franklin, I'm kind of surprised it's not more Democratic. This is where the mall is. If you've ever been going down the interstate towards I-65 down toward Franklin, you see the big mall there in Franklin. So you do have some areas where it gets a little bit closer, but Williamson County is going to be one to keep an eye on, because as you can see, Mark Green won it 65% to 33%. Does that get under 60% tonight? Okay, Rapper BC, Afton is my Tennessee state rep, and she's outstanding. Thanks for the coverage, Dave. You're welcome. I thought I'm only 3 hours away from Nashville. I thought about going to Nashville tonight to do the coverage, but it's just too, the weather sucks right now. So everyone's talking about the weather. Yeah, the weather sucks. And right now it's just easier to do it here. So yeah, so we still have 12 more minutes until polls close. I'm keeping an eye on some of the other channels, the national. Whoa, hold on. No. Stop. Shut up. I'm trying to see if any of them are going to have a live stream of anything. I do not know. It'll be interesting to see if they do. So yeah, overall, what are we looking for? Obviously, Nashville. Hopefully that number gets over 70%. I think in a special election it can, and turnout is more. Now, one thing I did want to mention before I continue. Okay. As far as early vote is concerned, Davidson County is 24.8% of the vote. 1/4 of the vote has come from Davidson County. Now, overall in the last election, it was 22.3%. Okay. So Nashville and Williamson have a higher proportion of the vote right now compared to previously. But that's just early votes. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen on election day. Montgomery is a little bit lower, so we'll see what happens there. I wasn't born here, so okay. So Diego, thank you very much for your generous $20 super chat. Greatly appreciate it. I wasn't born here. I am a naturalized citizen. I will now not renounce my Brazilian citizenship. If dual citizenship is gone, I can lose my American citizenship and be forced back to Brazil. Aren't you worried about white? Oh, I am worried about white nativism. I mean, honestly, if they say, 14th Amendment, because we're in the Trump era. What the hell is the Constitution, right? If they told me that, you had to pick between American and Slovak citizenship, I got my Slovak citizenship paperwork right here. I'm set. I'm good to go. I'd pick Slovakia any day. I'd live in Europe. Yeah, obviously. So yeah, it is getting, well, see, and this is why I do think tonight will be quite interesting, is you do have someone who has a message of, I hate to do the old hope and change, but she's talking about hope and change, but with actual policy, talking about affordability. One thing that Afton Bain has talked a lot about, if you're not from Tennessee and you haven't been following it as much, she has talked about the possible privatization of the Tennessee Valley Authority. So anyone who lives in a place where the public utilities are provided by the government, not by private companies, you notice a significant lower electricity bill, which Tennessee has one of the lowest electricity bills because of this. Um, and with that being the case, I mean, I lived in Quebec, in Hydro Quebec. When I went to McGill University, Hydro Quebec was my bill, and I would pay like $50 every 2 months for electricity in my apartment. It was insane. And she has really made the privatization of the TVA a huge thing. She's making this election local, whereas the Republicans are just like communist, communist, communist. I mean, they have no message, they have no answer. All right. So Mia, thank you. And thank you for being a member for a while. Appreciate it. Side question, Michigan's 7th. Do you think that Tom Barrett and the GOP talk of the gay fury socialists, Elon Badger will give him more name awareness, any chance of winning the primary? I have not looked at the 7th. Is the 7th the one? Is the 7th the one near Kalamazoo? Like I'll admit, when it comes to Michigan, there's some states that I'm kind of very, even though I was in Michigan for a month doing a statistics political statistics course at the University of Michigan like 10 years ago or something. I am dumb when it comes there. Though they do have Hungry Howie's, and I miss Hungry Howie's a lot. I don't know. I would have to look into that one. As soon as today's race is over, I will be focusing on Miami in the Senate, the state Senate race in Tennessee or Texas. Then after that, I will be looking more at the congressional race, because one I'm looking at really closely is the first congressional race in Utah. I used to live in Utah. I did my first 3 years at the University of Utah, until the tuition rates got extremely expensive. Here's another one. Thank you very much for the generous donation. Daniel. Okay, Daniel's son, a member of the channel as well. Thank you. Dave, love your election analysis. Today, there are also a few elections in Georgia, namely the Sandy Springs mayor race and the Atlantic City Council and education boards. Maybe you could talk about those on the side. I would if I knew about them. Okay, so don't think that I'm ignoring them. I'll have to look into those. Maybe I'll make that a members only thing. Okay, go into some of these smaller races. So thank you very much for the super chat there. So yeah, some of these races I'm not 100% on, because I've just been laser focused on this Afton Bain race, because honestly, if this thing flips, there's gonna be some people jumping off, getting into the lifeboats. If this becomes a loss, I don't know if it's going to be. I'm not yet. I can't say if Afton Bain's going to win it or lose it. She can win by 2, 3, 4%. She can lose by 10%. I don't know. Okay. That being the case, if she does win, then this will be the red flag. If you're MAGA, the red hat, the red flag, say, hey, listen, how long do you stay with Trump? Okay. I don't think you stay with him for long. I mean, it'll be interesting. See how many people jump off the Titanic, get in the lifeboats. A lot of people are already saying, screw it, I'm not running for Congress anymore. We'll see what happens. So somebody mentions this about Trump losing rural farming vote. I live in rural farming area. Okay. Literally, I have these stupid Asian beetles in here because they come from the soybean fields, and during the winter they come in to people's homes all in here. And because it's warm, you just cannot get rid of them. I haven't seen it yet. So I think it's a myth just from my anecdotal evidence. We don't, and I mentioned as far as Virginia and New Jersey, we haven't seen a siphoning off of Republican votes in rural counties. So I don't think that's it yet. I don't think that's happening yet. Okay, someone wrote commies, which made me laugh because as a European, what the US right wing tends to brand is more like a centrist. Yeah, I mean, when I went to McGill for my master's degree during, well, before 2016 election, we were talking about Bernie Sanders. And one of the Canadian students, he said, Bernie Sanders is a left of center person. He is not a socialist. By the way, I've mentioned the difference between democratic socialists and social democrat, which are totally different. It's kind of like the difference between the theory of economic voting and voting economic theory. The semantics matter in this case. Those are two absolutely different things. Okay, so a few more super chats. Thank you. I'm really important is live stream the networks if you need whip around coverage. Okay, so I don't know what I'm really important is. So, but thank you for the recommendation. Um, Thoughts on Nazi Trump again attacking black immigrants from Sanaa? It's what he does. I mean, that's what he does. I mean, they're just openly saying they're racist now. Okay. And you mentioned Africa, but he's allowing Afrikaners from South Africa to come over here as refugees, right? So, so yeah. But yeah, anyway, so like democratic socialists is the concept of the workers taking over the means of production, but the workers then in a democratic way determine how a factory or a co-op or something like that runs. Okay, so that's what that is. A social democrat believes in goods and services should be being provided by the government, such as healthcare and stuff like that. If any of you are wondering, the theory of economic voting and voting economic theory, actually, do I have the book here? Yeah, I do have the economic theory of democracy. So the economic theory of voting, which is known as Downsian voting behavior, is the idea that people look for the median, like you're looking for the median voter and you have to be closest to the voter. Economic voting theory means you're voting based on the economy. If the incumbent has a good economy, reward, punish system. Just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, John, thank you very much again for the super chat. My get after Ben will win by +1/+2. Her policies are pro working class, progressive, and the true remnants of FDR. Fan from the Philippines. Thank you very much from the Philippines. Got to be early in the Philippines. There. Okay, we do have 1 minute. Thank you. Somebody said 2-minute countdown. 1 minute. Yeah. So, John, thank you very much. It's good to have people from across the world. We'll stick with the Tennessee one first. So I will go. So let's go to here. See if we get any. So what we'll do, of course, we'll see if there are any dumps that are coming in. And if there are some dumps coming in, then we'll get an idea right away. So what am I looking for? If there is early voting dumps, what am I looking for? Montgomery County being blue. Davidson County obviously is going to be blue. Williamson County is close to 50-50 as possible. Robertson County, Dixon County, low turnouts. Okay. I don't know if that'll happen. The rural counties, they might matter at the end. But according to early vote, their turnout is low. All right, polls are closed in Tennessee. Now we press refresh constantly to see what happens. All right. Oh, okay. Jersey City. Oh, yeah. Jersey City Mayor Jim McGreevey is running. He is the former governor of New Jersey. He's running again. So, with the polls closed. All right, so we definitely know because the polls close immediately. So we will wait 2 minutes. Because usually if there's going to be a huge dump, it happens within seconds. Let's go over to Davidson County, see if they have a dump. No. I'm going to see if I can get Williamson County has a shit website. So Montgomery County, Tennessee elections. Let's see it current upcoming elections. Let's see if they're actually election results. Are they not showing? Really? You can't do okay, elections commission. Welcome. December 2nd election results. Click here. Okay, so there we go. I'll go ahead and throw these into here. So this is Montgomery County's election results. All right, so nothing so far. All right, so I'll look at the chat for a while, see what we got. I got my tea here with my LBJ mug. I'm thinking of selling merch. I mean, I'm thinking about selling like my own merch like this, but I am thinking about like finding old like presidential campaign, like failing campaigns, like Dole Kemp and stuff like that, and getting those for mugs and t-shirts and stuff like that. All right. Yeah, I think the one here refreshes every 5 minutes. So let's see. Trump had made Nazi comments towards Muslims, Somalis, and refugees. Do you believe that most of Trump voters are Nazis, or do they just go with? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Race plays a big role. Okay, I'll tell you a story. As a matter of fact, do I have my phone's over there? I'm not gonna get it. I have a Kennedy Johnson bumper sticker on the back of my car. The day before Charlie Kirk was shot, some guy was on my ass. Okay, dude looked like the Attenborough guy from Jurassic Park. Not lying. He then pulls up next to me. I start yelling at him because he got an attitude. And he rolls down the window and he says, "Drive like a white person." Okay. And I know the reaction is to the Kennedy Johnson bumper sticker. Okay. Racism has a huge part to do with the Republican Party. I can be honest that every Republican I have in my family is pretty much a racist. Not my immediate family. Luckily for me, my immediate family, my mom and dad, are definitely not Republicans. But I can tell you the cousins and uncles and stuff like that I have, if they're Republicans, oh, they're racist. They always have been. So I think race has a huge, huge part of it. All right. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, it's like, and there are some people that oh, here we go. Where is this from? Okay. So we have Van Ups up by quite a bit. Okay, these are from small counties, from Stewart County, from Wayne County, nothing from Williamson. So these are from some small counties. So let's see, what percentage do they give us? A percentage? Why can't you get us for? I'm kind of interested to see how these independents go, because they're going to take. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at. Let's look at Stewart County here. Okay, 4, 6. So let's look at Stewart County. Here we go. Okay, they got them up here now. So Stewart County, 67%. What happened before? 79%. Ooh, 50. Oh, so we are going to get some dumps. That is a huge reduction. Stewart County went 79% for green, but is only going 67% for Van Epps. Now we get down here. I think that the counties down south are going to still go more Republican. 79% for Van Epps and 86%. So there's a swing. There's a huge swing. Oh yeah. Okay, we're starting to get some more come in. Okay, so oops. All right. So we're talking about what here? Let's go back to here. Okay, so we got Houston County, 68% to 76%. So we're talking about an 8% swing to Bain in that county. Now we're getting some of these smaller counties in, okay? Perry County, 69%. Okay, last time, 81%. That is a 12% swing in these small rural counties. I want to see Montgomery County. So at this rate, we could see, I don't know. I mean, let's hold on. But the swing is there. But the swing is going, okay, Stewart County 67 to 79. So that's a 12% swing. So we are seeing more of a swing in the north than in the south. Well, actually, no, the Perry County one had a big swing. What, 69% to 81%. So you're looking at, actually, what I'm kind of interested in is how many votes. Okay, Megan Barry had 601 votes there. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the county. So far, good. So far, close. It's going to be a close race. So far, it's going to be a close race. All right. So we got to say, okay, Afton Bain needs a 10% swing, essentially. Okay. This is what? 12%, 68. This is 8%. This was like 11 or 12%. The Wayne County one, 79. So that's only 7 or 6%. So she does have a swing in her advantage. These are the small counties we're not expecting much from. No, if the election swings 12%, she wins. Okay, if the election swings 12%, she wins. But again, we have election day voting that we don't know. We don't know the turnout yet. Can we see a little bit more for Afton Bain? Another county has come in. Let's go down. Houston, or maybe some just other ones. Wayne County, Williamson. Okay. So this is reporting quite quickly. Oh, whoa. What happened here? Something happened there. Okay, let's go to counties. Something big just happened. Afton Bain brought it in close. Montgomery County, Afton Bain is leading the early votes, 9,741 to 9,182. Afton Bain is leading in Montgomery County. Now, again, we don't know, so we don't have that blue yet, but she is winning. Let's go over to here. Afton Bain. We can't get so that's all the early votes. Okay. If she can make this fit. Now, remember what I talked about in my last video. The election day vote is not going to be as Republican as we're used to it in the past. We haven't been seeing that. This is going to be a cheek squeaker. Thank you very much, Tropical Ding, for the super chat. Yeah, see, they haven't added it yet here. Let's go back here. So now remember, the county that has had the most early votes, in-person early vote, is Davidson. And if we look at Davidson, we can see 67%. I want to see, here we go. I wonder why they're not putting in Montgomery County. Montgomery County has results right here. Why are you not putting it? Why are you not putting in Montgomery County yet? Okay, so it seems like the Tennessee. Yep, so far, like even if it's a win for the Republicans, let's look at Benton County, 73% to 80%. As I mentioned before, and I'll mention it again, the whole thing is like turnout in Davidson. And it can happen. All right, let's see if we got any new numbers here. I'm noticing their website's running a little slower. Yeah, they haven't even put Montgomery County in there. Even though Montgomery County is reporting right here. Now she's up by 3% in Montgomery County. Yeah, the Tennessee. Okay, so this a new Republican county must have come in. Okay, now they finally got it here. All right. Now I'm kind of interested to see what Williamson does. Cheltenham County, okay, 60, yeah, right? 60% to, 70%. So it shifted 10%. What am I doing here? Come on, Dave. Okay. Let's see, 21,980. They still aren't caught up. Let's go over to Davidson's site. Okay. Yeah, Davidson County is still. Okay, if you're a Democrat, it's a really good sign that Davidson County has not come in, because that means that they probably have some late votes that came in by mail. That might mean they have a shitload of early votes that they need to count. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be in a position of 55-43 with Davidson not coming in yet. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, 17. Yeah, see, they're just not keeping up. And another thing you got to remember about early voting, another thing you got to remember about election day voting too. So election day voting is going to be where your breakers go. Who's going to break one way or the other at the last minute? Late breakers usually go to the challenger. In this case, pretty much the challenger is Afton Baines. So, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say election day voting is going to be Republican. It probably will be. Okay, so here we go. So they do have some more Republican counties, Dixon County and Robertson County. Those are the ones I've been talking about. But we got to see what Nashville does. And we got to see if Clarksville holds on. Decision Desk HQ, I will not read any, I will not watch. I mean, unless I have to, I will not look at anything that Tom Bonnier is a part of. Okay, now we got Dixon County 62% to 73%, so that's 11. So you got to remember, Nashville or Davidson County went 67%. If it goes to like 77% and is a higher percentage of the vote, that will have an impact. We still don't have anything there. We still. Okay, so now. Here, let me go to the counties. Okay, so here's the thing. No precincts have been reported yet. So Williamson hasn't reported yet. They're still going through early votes. Remember, that's the only county that Afton Bain won in the primary. So Wayne County has done early votes. Stewart has gone. Robertson has not. Is it Robertson or Robertson? Because in the South they like to mispronounce stuff. So we have that county to go. Not a huge county, but one to kind of watch. Perry's a smaller early vote. Montgomery is the bigger one, obviously. Early vote. Yeah, now the Secretary of State site's getting slow. Yeah, so basically all of what we got here now is early vote. I mean, we really can't figure out anything until we know what Davidson and Williamson does. Let's be honest, Williamson is in Franklin here, not a small county. Not a small county. In 2024, Williamson was 14% of the overall vote in the district. Okay, this is pretty much the same. All right, so I guess we're going to wait a while. Let's go ahead and look at. I mean, a swing that you have is what you want, but I still think you might have needed a little bit more of a swing. Like, okay, 51-48. Montgomery County was 58. Okay. So 48, that's 10%. It might come down to what these third-party candidates pull in. It really might. And with Franklin County taking as long as it has, I'm wondering what or not Franklin County, Williamson County, where Franklin is. I'm kind of wondering. I mean, Afton Bain won't be in the lead, but it might be pretty significantly less. Because I don't think 10% swing is necessarily enough. Makes it close, makes it into recount. But if the Republicans pull off like an extra 3 or 4% in election day voting, then that's different. That. All right, so now we're just waiting. And I think we wait here to see what the Tennessee Secretary of State says, or we go over to Davidson. All right. And they just uploaded, and I guarantee you, most of them are just web scraping off of this site. All right. All right. I think we're in a holding pattern now. So let's see. Davidson had 50,333 early votes come in. Okay, hold on a second. I want to check something out here. $55. Okay, 55. 55. Forgive me while I'm at 55. 3655. Okay. If Davidson County comes in, you're going to see this number flip. So Davidson County has 50,000 early voters. Well, wait, hold on. Wait, so here, okay, wait. So this is something else. This is not all the early votes. Okay, this is not all the early votes. So Montgomery County has a total of 19,180 votes, but the amount of early votes cast, or no, okay, no, wait. Okay, I made a mistake. Sorry. I screwed up on something. I was looking at the wrong numbers. Okay, here we go. We must be starting to get some precincts in. Times 0.15. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out some. Okay. Plus 17,379. 33. 33. 33. Okay, so my prediction is once Davidson County comes in, that Afton Bain will take the lead once Davidson County comes in. Now, that does not include what happens in Robertson or Williamson County. So, like right now, if Davidson County came in, she should take the lead. That's how many votes are there. There's 20,910 votes that have been cast there. If she wins 75% of those votes in early voting, then that will propel her into the lead. And then chances are the other ones, depending how close they are, can narrow down that lead. So let me go ahead. Yeah, the Secretary of State site is just getting slow now. Okay. So let me okay, let's go back to Tennessee. Okay, so let's look. So we got 24,094, 17,379. So equals, okay, no. Equals this times 0.75 equals this minus this. Okay, equals sum. Sorry, I'm working on my Excel spreadsheet as we're talking right now. Okay, equals this divided by the sum of this. Oops. Ah, crap. Yes, go ahead and please. Nope. Equals this divided by the sum of this equals 1 minus this. So, if Davidson, my projection is right now, if Davidson comes in next, Afton Bain will be up 53-47 of major party votes. So that doesn't include all the minor party candidates. So 6, 12. Okay. So yeah. So they're almost taking 2%. So she would be winning 53-47 of major party votes when Davidson County comes in. But then Robertson County and Williamson County can negate those numbers. All right, so now her numbers come down a little bit. Let's see if we're getting some precincts coming in, because I have a feeling that's what we're having right now. Yeah, so we have Perry County here. Okay, wait. So Perry County, 69 to 81. So here, okay, so this is good. Wait. They haven't yet. Where is it? Okay. 602, 218, 12. Oops. God bless it. 602, 218, 12, 211, 836. Okay, so now Perry County has gone up to 72%. It's not showing it yet, but it has gone up to 72%. So it does show in these rural counties that we're getting election day vote. Coming in. So the election day vote in Perry County will still not be enough to nearly get at what it was there. Come on, Davidson. Van Epps is a rhino. What? He's not a flaming enough moron for you? Jesus. We don't know how much of Montgomery is left. We don't know how much, because we don't know how many people vote on election day. That's why I'm saying anybody who's making unless you're doing Florida, which is the only state that I know that you can get election day numbers. Unless you're doing Florida, no one can give you a prediction of what's going to happen, because polls don't indicate election day turnout. Polls don't talk about turnout. Okay. No, Perry County is now 72. They haven't updated it yet, but Perry County is now at 72%. All right, so just wait, I guess. Well, not I guess. We wait, because we have to wait. All right. So this is looking like it could be close. It really comes, okay. As I mentioned, once Nashville comes in, of the major party vote, Afton Bain will be up 53-47. That's my prediction. Okay. I don't know what Williamson's going to do. Because as you can see, Williamson goes 65. If that number goes below 50 when it comes in, then it will be very close. And then Robertson County will make it a little bit with Van Epps in the lead. If Nashville had a good election day turnout, then that could help. I would say right now, like looking at the numbers right now, I would say that Van Epps has the slight advantage. The slight advantage. 2%, 3%. But we don't know what happened. We don't know what's happened on election day. Okay, here we go. This is why I told you. Okay, so Afton Bain is now in the lead, 35,000 to 27,000. That means that Nashville has now come in. Do they have it on their site yet? No. But that does mean that Davidson has come in. Now the question is, 17,003. Okay. Let me see. 17,833 plus 3052 plus 57 plus 49 plus 13 plus 9, 12,013 or 21,013. Okay, wow. Okay, actually, this might be better. She just got so she just got 84.9%. Here we go. This vote in Davidson, early vote, this is 84.9% of early vote. She won 84.9%. I said the number that I told you that she would be ahead of major party vote, 53-47 after Davidson comes in, that was based off an early vote of 75%. So this is actually 10% higher. That might make a difference. That might make a difference. What the hell is with God? New York Times, get your ass in gear here. See, now he just had a huge. Now, why didn't her number go up, but his did? That seems like an error of some sort. What did I tell you? I told you as soon as Nashville came in, I said 53-47. I said 53-47. I was off because I underestimated Afton Bain's numbers by 10%. So there we go. So now we got to see. Now we got to see what Williamson does. We'll go ahead. We'll see what Williamson does. So I guess so let's see, 32-37. Yeah, where did that huge... Okay, let's go down to Williamson. Did Williamson come in? Yeah, Williamson has not come in yet. And okay, so another thing to remember too, Williamson only has 11 precincts. Okay, so Wayne County's coming in. A lot of these smaller counties, Perry County's almost done. So is that Robertson County that came in? Yeah, that's Robertson County that came in. Okay. Okay, there we go. Robertson County. 67%, 73%. Not what you'd want, but that Nashville number is helping you out. Let's see what Franklin does. Okay. Race is on. Race is on now. Okay, let's see. The race is on. This is, I don't know if any of you seen one of my favorite, I have Red Storm Rising here. I'm a huge Tom Clancy fan. Movie Hunt for Red October. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but when the radar guy takes off the radar when the Russian torpedoes coming when they're in Red October, and he's like, "This one's gonna be close." That's where we are. We're in, this one's gonna be close. Okay, so when all is said and done, we'll, okay, wait, let's see. 32, 33, 34, 35, 35. I'm thinking the gap in Williamson, like the gap that there will be. I mean, Van Epp should be winning in Williamson, but I don't think the gap is going to be enough for him to actually take the lead. The sonar guy, yeah. Did I say yeah, the sonar guy. Yeah, I've heard. What was his Jonesy? That was his name, Jonesy. And Jonesy is like, this one's gonna be close. That's how I feel here. I don't think she'll win Franklin. Okay, because look at Franklin here. It's 65%. Okay, 58%, and she's winning Montgomery 51 for. She's not. She doesn't have to win Franklin. It just has to be. It has. She doesn't have to win Franklin. I would say if you can keep it, or I mean, again, I don't know what election day is going to do. But if I'm her candidate and saying that you're going to be up 46-53 or 47-52, once early votes are counted, I'd take it. Yeah, but again, remember, people, with this stuff about our latest estimates, they do not know what election day does. Okay, if you do, unless they know what turned out on election day, that doesn't mean a damn thing. Like, I mean, like literally nobody might have turned out on election day. I wish I'd get these updated. Well, it looks like they're a little bit closer now. Let's see what counties are coming in. Okay. Trying to see some counties. So, like here, Davidson County, you see they have 57 precincts. Okay. What does Montgomery County has? 38 precincts. Okay. Remember, this isn't even the most Democratic Republican district there. That one that Ogles is in, that goober, that's even a more Democratic district. Excuse me, not precinct, district. Hickman County is got some in. Wayne County is halfway done. Again, I don't care what New York Times has it. They don't know what oh no, don't their site's crashing. Oh my god. Okay, no, there we got it back. It's like, holy shit, their site is crashing. No, it's not R plus 17. Jesus H. Christ. Okay. Tennessee 5th Congressional District is R plus 8, not R plus 17. Holy cow, that's going to drive me nuts tonight. I'm sorry. People getting the how these numbers work. Oh, that's someone saying stop the steal. I don't know if that's being facetious because Republicans just assume that everything they don't win is stolen, or if somebody really means that. Yeah, we got to see what yes, percentage points. It's okay. That's the point. Okay. Ogles won at 56-39. Okay. He loses by 7% or 8%. He loses the district. Okay. It's not 17. If he lost the district, if the swing was 17% the other way, the Democrat would win it by like 8%. That's the point. All right. Let's go over to this. Now we're just getting some small numbers in. Okay, see now if you're looking this Wayne County 82%, whereas you can see there 86. So if you're Bain, you're not liking. I thought the southern part of the district was going to be her weaker part. She really has concentrated in Davidson and Montgomery. And I assume Franklin. I don't know what vibes this is giving me, to be honest. I still think again, I don't know what election day turnout is. I still think Van Epps is in a position of advantage. So now the count is happening. So Perry County is almost done. Wayne County is getting there. Hickman County is getting there. Because remember, Hickman, Perry, Wayne, these are going to be our weakest counties right in here. That number is much higher than I thought. So if that number is much higher than I thought, then election day is going to be good as well. Actually, let me see. Let me look at the last election. I think I still have the slides. Midterm slides. Here we go. Tennessee poll. Here we go. All right. So, okay. To give you an idea, in 2024, okay, the Democratic candidate, Megan Barry, who was the former disgraced mayor of Nashville, she ran in 2024 against Mike Green, or Mark Green. Is it Mark Green or Mike Green? I think it's Mike Green, right? No, it's Mark Green. Shows what I know. Anyways, to give you an idea, Megan Barry won 68.9% of early votes in Davidson County. And Afton Bain has just won 85%. But on election day, even though it was less, Barry still won election day votes with 61.2%. Okay. So let's go ahead and compare Montgomery County. So let me go to Montgomery County. In Montgomery County, Megan Barry only won 41.0% of early votes. You have Afton Bain winning 10% more. On election day, Megan Barry won 37.3% of election day votes. Okay. Now, In Montgomery County, 59% of the vote was early votes. Only 37% of the votes was election day votes. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm wondering what's taken Williamson so darn long. Yeah, because I don't think that New York Times takes into account voting method, because they can't take into account voting method due to the fact that not all of them are going to have the same voting method. A lot of them don't have the voting method data. That's why I wasn't able to get anything. Okay, so now you see Houston County at 71, 76. So you're starting to see these counties come back to where they were. And if you're Afton Bain, that's not a good sign. What I'm really interested now is seeing what I'm really interested right now in seeing is seeing how Davidson County and Montgomery County, how many precincts they have reporting. All right, so Decatur County is finished. Decatur County, where the hell is Decatur County? Is finished. 79-20. So Van Epps only performed 3% worse. Okay. Afton Bain at 20% and Megan Barry at 16%. So Afton Bain's doing 4% better. Again, these southern counties are going to be her worst counties. So no, the race is not in the rural counties. The race is turnout in Nashville, flipping Montgomery County, and lowering your margins in Franklin. The rural counties have nothing to do with this. I mean, at the end, if she loses by a few thousand votes, can you say it was the rural county? Sure. But you can also say you didn't turn out voters in this certain place, or you didn't persuade voters in Williamson County, right? There are 17,000 excuses you could really come up with. Oh, did she just get a little bit of a bump? Did okay, it looks like she got a little, it looks like no, Williamson County did not come in. Wayne County's halfway done. Perry County's almost done. Decatur's complete. Well, it looked like they went up. Where do they have gone up from? Since Williamson County is still not reporting. Okay, are they finally... Okay, they're finally getting close here. Let's see. Did I say it was Perry County that was finished? No, Perry County is not finished. Which one did I say was finished? Decatur County. I want to see if it says 100 on here. Okay, so it will probably say 95, more than 95% of the vote in. That's probably, even though Decatur County has counted 100% of their precincts, they might have some mail-in votes that they still have to count or whatever. So they don't say 100% necessarily. Now, so I keep on saying Franklin County. So Franklin is the city. That's where the mall is and stuff like that. Real nice mall there in Franklin, in Williamson County. And again, remember, if we look at, let's see. Okay, New York Times. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you this. So let's put it here. So if we look at Afton Bain here, she won the primary. Like I said, it was close amongst all of them. The only county she won was Williamson. So she does, and that's not where her district is. Her district's in Nashville. So she does have some power in Williamson. Oh, wow. Now we've gotten this close. So I bet Williamson just came in, and that came in. Yep, Williamson came in. Now, let's look at that number. Now, I will say, if you're the Democrats, not say it's going to give you a win, but if you're up by 3, or no, come on, okay, so she's now down by just a little under 200 votes. Let me see here. Oh, come on. $14,782. Does that look like it's 14? Huh, interesting. That's 22 more early votes than they have on file. Interesting. 14,1792. So Van Epps had 54.9% of early votes in Williamson. What did I say it was before? Oh, I didn't do Williamson. Okay. All right. So where are we at now? We're at basically a tied race. Now, I am going to look up something. So there's no automatic recount in Tennessee. A recount has to be asked for by a candidate. So I wanted to see if there was an automatic recount there. Okay, does this give us 45, 45, 40? See, now all of a sudden, okay, this is weird. Now all of a sudden okay, this is weird. Now all of a sudden there are more votes on the New York Times than there is on the state website. So I guess we stick with the New York Times now. So what's the bad news and what's the good news? Okay, let's start off with, so this gives you estimated votes remaining, that amount left. See, no. What's the bad news and what's the good news? The good news, if you're Afton Bain, is that most of these rural areas have already counted most of their votes. Okay, not all of them, but most of them have. And you're still within a good margin. Okay. You're winning Montgomery County, though that's probably going to flip Republican. You have a ton of election day votes that is going to come from Nashville. The question is that going to be offset by Williamson County? It should not be. Nashville and Davidson County is significantly higher. Okay. So that's the good news. The bad news is that the overall swing will probably go Republican from this point on because it is election day. In what I said earlier, I said that it's going to be, as a matter of fact, I think that I said it here on Blue Sky. Okay. I said, looking at Tennessee's 7th primary, just over half of Republican primary voters voted on election day. As for Democrats, the number was only a little less at 47.6 of election day voters. Republicans are not poised to get a huge election day bump. A bump, yes, but not a huge bump. And that's where, if you're Afton Bain right now, it's not looking good for you. But it is a special election. It is not a general election. Yeah, now we're starting to see a little bit more of a gap. Let's go ahead and see what counties. Yeah, if you're Afton Bain, you want that a little bit closer. Well, no, I was saying about 55% you could do it. It's not over yet. I'm just it's not over yet. Again, I believe that Van Epps has the advantage, but it's not anywhere near being over. Because you got, okay, let's go through the counties. Benton County, small county, very small county. As a matter of fact, Benton County is the 3rd smallest county. They still have to have their precincts come in. Cheatham County, I guess that's how you say it, a medium-sized county. This one will go more towards Van Epps. Davidson County, huge county. Nashville, nothing in. 57 precincts. And you know what? Let's go ahead. We're looking at 57 precincts that are very, very, very blue. Okay, we're looking at all these here. Have not come in yet. Decatur County, finished. No more damage can be done there. Dixon County, more Republican county, will help Van Epps in the end. Hickman County, same thing. Only 4 of 14. Van Epps there. Houston County is the 2nd smallest county. We're almost done counting there. Humphreys County, probably a mid-sized county here in the district. Haven't counted precincts yet. Montgomery County, this is it here. Turnout in Davidson and Montgomery County. If she keeps the margins down in Montgomery, it could be really close. Perry County, finish, done. Robertson County still has to come in. That's going to help Van Epps. Stewart County, I'm surprised Stewart County has not had more. Stewart County is, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Like the 9th largest county. Nothing there. Wayne County, one of the smaller counties, almost finishing. Williamson County hasn't finished yet. Okay, so now it's just because this is the problem with, actually, let's look at the Jersey City mayor's race. McGreevy lost. Okay. Yeah, we just do not know what's happening in an election day voting. Because the question is, once Davidson comes in, because there's no precincts there, right? Let me check something really quick. In 2024, only about 20% of Davidson County's votes was election day voting. So, even though we have all these precincts, they might not be as big as you think. This is definitely looking more toward Van Epps having the slight advantage. Okay. And you got to remember, this is a plus 10 Republican district. I mean, it's to come this close to it is impressive nonetheless. Nope, people are going to start with if we picked a moderate, we would have won. Nope, you wouldn't have. You think that a moderate Democrat would have won in rural Tennessee? Nope. Again, I live in rural America. They think all Democrats are communist, okay? It doesn't matter. You have a D next to your name, they won't like you. And unfortunately, that's going to be the talk. If you had a moderate, that's it. Yep, if you have a candidate that stands for nothing, you can win. That doesn't work nowadays. Didn't we try that with Hillary Clinton in 2016? How well did that work out? Because I know that stupid "we're going to have a moderate" talk is going to be there based on nothing. Based on nothing. Because people don't understand rural voters here. Trust me, I live in rural Southern Illinois. Okay, people want to hear about having improved healthcare, having social safety nets, stuff like that. The reason they turn away from Democrats is because Democrats focus on social issues that are not in line with their values. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and bring in the fight song Hillary Clinton thing, and you'll lose rural America by even more. Oh no, that ain't it. Whoa, some big number just came in. So that went down big time. That 52 to 47, that seems really odd. Like, that seemed weird. That he just gained all of a sudden 5,000 votes, and he gained 5,000 votes and she gained like 100 or a few hundred. Must have been a bunch of precincts in Dixon. That seemed weird. Okay, some Williamson County precincts are coming in now. Okay. See, now you can see this is getting 59 to 40. We're starting to get Williamson County in. You can see it was 65 before. Yeah. I think we're getting to the point now that see, and you're right. So people are like, we need to run independents like Osborne in this district. That is a problem with the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party never asked themselves, why do people hate you so much? That it's better to have an independent on the ballot than someone with a D next to their name. That is a problem they do have to address. Absolutely. Was this little map down here the whole time? I don't remember it. Yeah, so now I think we're getting to the point that regardless, I mean, unless something happens big time in Montgomery County, the Democrats will have shaved. Let's see, what was it before? Democrats might shave 6% off this district. Because see how many of these are just getting allowed up. Now Montgomery County flipped. Afton Bain can't win this thing if she don't win Montgomery County. And let's see what the numbers are. He just totally blew by Montgomery County. See, that's weird because it's saying that 038 in Montgomery County. So, oh, Montgomery, they're probably getting it off of, yeah, here it is. So 11 of 38 precincts reporting in Montgomery. Obviously, okay. Obviously, the state is now not updating it. Now, do I think as these continue to count and then Nashville comes in, do I think it can make it a tiny bit closer? Possibly, but I think right now we're going to see about this gap. I mean, it looks like she won't win this. Well, no, I don't call it. I'm not like someone says just call it. I don't call it. I wait for all the data to come in to see what happens. Okay. Ask the people in the networks in 2000 how calling stuff actually helped worked out for them. Um, no. See, okay. So this is the point. So someone sees 55% here of Nashville. 55% of Nashville is not yet to come in. About 20% of it is. Okay. So, unless they have data that shows that 40% of those are election day voters, then that's not going to happen. Okay. In 2024 of Davidson County, about 20% of voters were election day voters, and basically 80% were early voters. So if these are the early numbers, that's almost more like 70 to 80% have turned out. So this is wrong. So what they got here is wrong. It's wrong, and unfortunately for Afton Bain, that's bad. If you're looking at this and it's 55, you're thinking you have a chance. No. Again, in Davidson County in 2024, 20% of the vote was cast on election day, 3% was cast vote by mail, and 77% was cast in early vote. So 80% of vote by mail and early votes in Davidson County. So this number technically is like way higher than that. No, I don't think Nashville will be. I mean, Nashville will be redder than what it is now. But I don't think it's going to be redder. Actually, Nashville is going to be way more blue than it was. Most of these counties have flipped. So, or not flipped. Most of these counties have gone Democratic. Let's see. So, yeah. I just want to see now. Now it's just a matter of now it's just a matter of to see how close they can make the vote with Davidson County. I mean, that's it. That's all it is. Unless Davidson County does have some huge ass turnout, which again, we don't know what happened on election day, because now we are starting to see these counties be finishing up with their numbers. But I don't see Afton Bain coming back from this. I don't see it. See, now that's correct. Somebody said Trump won this by 22 points. Yes, he won it by 22 points. Exactly. But it's not a plus 22 district. It's a plus 10 district. So yes, that is correct terminology. But see, now the question comes after this. The question that needs to be asked now is, okay, we have 110,000 voters who voted in this. We have a ton of data from this. How do the Democrats look at the data and try to figure out how to figure out the vote intentions of people using this data and then put this into the Tennessee 5th congressional district? Okay? This is why I think the Democrats really suck. I think Democrats suck at data. I think they suck when it comes to trying to understand voting intentions using non-attitudinal data, using spatial data like we have, using geographical data. I think they just do not know how to do that. I mean, I back in the days, I used to look at numbers done by, so-called big Democratic consultants, and they were a friggin' joke. I mean, they were like really elementary school type of stuff. And I'm like, really? I could have a 10-year-old could do this on an Excel spreadsheet. I hope that the Democrats are able to glean something out of this. Now, 38. I mean, you're still talking about a 7.6% swing to the Democratic side. Unfortunately, you needed 10 or 11%, right? Right? It's like you just needed a certain amount. You know what it's like? You know what it's like? What this is going to be like? It's like watching your team win the World Series in the 9th inning with one out, and then the other team hits a home run, brings in the extra innings, and you lose. That's what it's like. Okay. Just weren't close enough. Yeah, I'm bitter about the World Series. I'm still mad about that. Yeah, the whole thing about this is what can the Democrats do? And I will say, I mean, Afton Bain doesn't have to worry. She's still a member of the Tennessee House. I do think she's a star for the future. Now, the thing is how to use her as a star for the future. And I think that's what comes in the near future. Now that she's probably not going to be elected to Congress, I mean, one of the things I'd like to do on this channel is start interviewing certain people. I'm hoping the channel can grow again. Okay. So I'm going to be putting my time and effort into this. I am going to be focusing basically entirely on American elections. That's what people come here to see. They don't come here to see German elections or Canadian elections or whatever. They come here to see American elections. So, that's what I'm going to do. Now, there must have been some precincts. Her number just came up. Just came up, so there must have been some precincts that came in from Davidson. Let's see what Davidson. Yeah, 21 of 57, so nearly half of Davidson's came in. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. As soon as Davidson comes in, yeah, 47, 52. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I mean, she won't win it as of this point. Unless there's I mean, the only way, well, let's hold on. Okay, let me check something here. And again, I don't know if these precincts are like larger precincts or what. So, okay, wait. Okay, 27, 125. Huh. Okay. 27, 125. Okay, 27,125 have been done in Davidson. And there was 209, okay, 220,910. Okay, equals this minus this equals this divided by the sum. Sorry, on my Excel spreadsheet again, even though I just knocked the Excel spreadsheet. Okay. 6, 12. Okay. Yeah, we're on par for that. She might get 47%. I was seeing, like, because this number looked a little bit high, I was seeing with this number being a little bit high in Nashville, I was seeing if it was on par to maybe be over 20% of election day, but I don't think it's going to be. See other stuff that they have down here. Well, I mean, here we go. We got some of the we have some of the counties here, right? It doesn't have all of them. You see Houston County is a 12% more Democratic. Benton County, 8.8% more Democratic. Decatur County, 9.3% more Democratic. So they are becoming more Democratic, even in the places it was like, I don't know, 15% or points more Democratic than 2024 presidential votes. Okay. So, I mean, there you go. Them blue arrows actually helps. I just mainly want to see how close Davidson County makes this. Because we will be talking about this tonight. We will, or tomorrow, we will be talking about the Miami mayor's race. See, and this is why I do think that the Democratic Party is actually in a good position, is because they are focusing on races like the Miami mayor's race. Before, it was just presidential, presidential, presidential. That's it. There is a change in focus in the Democratic Party. Granted, they screwed over David Hogg, which was total bullshit. They got to get that power trip stuff in the Democratic Party over with and finished with. They really do. Taylor Ramette. Okay, I mean that election now is going to be next year, right? So we have the Miami mayor's race coming up, and the race to really watch is the Taylor Ramette race, which is in Texas, and that is that the 9th Senate district in Texas? I don't know. But it's in Tarrant County. It's a northwest Tarrant County. So it includes, I think, the northern part of Fort Worth, and then just goes north and west of there to the corner of Tarrant County. That's going to be the one that we'll see. Okay. I mean, see, and this is where, and I guess I'm having a blank on Stacey Abrams, right? This is the question I guess you have to ask yourself. Afton Bain, do you give her a national profile, or do you give her a Build Tennessee profile? Because if we take Stacey Abrams in Georgia, I don't think that her focusing just on Georgia has necessarily helped her out. Though I will say she has not benefited from it, but Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff have benefited from the organization that she has done. I think if you're the Democrats, you have to ask yourself where Afton Bain fits in the grand scheme of how to move the Democratic Party forward. Jared, I see the super chat. Thank you very much for the 4.99 super chat. And if anyone else wants to give a super chat, I don't know how much longer I'll be on, but any little appreciation is greatly appreciated. Um, so yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens here. What becomes her role? So now we're seeing a 6% swing. And as I mentioned before, so I made this map before and I'll show you that if the Democrats had a 5% swing in every congressional district in the midterms, this is what the map would look like. This is a 5% swing. What we're seeing in Tennessee right now is a 6% swing. So I don't think that a 5% swing nationwide, I mean, we still have a year to go, a lot can happen, is not necessarily out of the realm of possibility. So let's go ahead and see how many precincts from Davidson. We're still waiting for a chunk. Okay, Benton's done. I mean, Van Epps is going to win. Okay, let's just, if you're here to say, oh, who's going to, Van Epps is going to win. Where is your blue wave? Dude, we've kicked the shit out of you in almost everything. We just brought you down by 6%. Okay, where has been your wave? What have you done? You're getting 53%, 53.5% in a district you should be kicking the shit out of us in. Okay, so buddy, it's like, I guess you just do whatever your dear leader tells you to do. God, I swear Republicans are such warped in the heads. So yeah, where's the Republican? As I've said this whole entire time, where's the big win for the Republicans? Show me an election where the Republicans have actually come out better than they did in 2024. Show me any election in 2025 where the Republicans actually had a big increase in votes. All of them have been decreases. Yeah. So, yeah, people, I mean, like the dear leader syndrome of this part of the Republican Party. I don't know how many of you watch Legal Eagle. I would recommend watching Legal Eagle. But yeah, I mean, he talks about like, we don't have a Democratic or a right or left party. We have a party that is for democracy and a party that's for authoritarianism. Since he's Trump's buddy and he might lose, would you please cover the upcoming Hungarian elections? I'm trying to figure out. See, here's the problem. I'll read the other super chats here. A few more from Brendan and from Daniel. So, am I wrong in thinking that this is a good night? No, it's a good night. It's a good night. I live in Tennessee, and this district is major MAGA country. Oops, hold on, let me go. The fact that this could be 15-point swing, I would be held nervous if a GOP member, as a GOP member in 2016. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I agree. Being at 53.5% is not good, and we still have some more of Davidson County come in, so that can come down a little bit. So it is a good night. And then Daniel, thank you again for a super chat. What do you think this forecast for the 2026 elections? See, here's the problem: is we've had so many different swings, and I mentioned at the beginning of this live stream, and I think this is important to realize, is that the rural counties aren't really budging. Okay. So if I were the Democrats right now, I would be saying, let's hold off on the rural counties. Let's focus on really because if you look at like Montgomery County and Williamson County are kind of like prime counties that you want to start flipping. And here, because I truly don't believe that the Democrats know how to deal with rural counties. Brendan, one more question here. Yeah, the Republicans nationalized this race, so a lot of it would be pretty close to a midterm result more than special election. I think D+10 midterm, that's what's going on. Could be. I'm not sure yet. But in the grand scheme of things, okay, in my congressional district, because of the big ugly bill, as Afton Bain calls it rightfully, we're going to have five. We're slated to have five rural hospitals here close, and the people in this district don't even know that they're going to probably close. They don't even know why they're going to close. And people think, oh, if you do stuff on Facebook and protest in front of congressmen's offices, that no, no. If you got a MAGA congressman, he's not going to take your calls. He's just going to hang up on you, say, have a nice day, whatever. You need to have billboards out there. Driving up I-57 here in Southern Illinois says Mike Bost is closing this hospital. Vote against him. You need to have signs. And I've been thinking about starting a political action committee for the 12th Congressional District here, where we would buy 10,000 signs, put them up all over the district, and say Mike Bost is closing your hospital. Save like Franklin Hospital, save Olney Hospital, save all these hospitals, and just putting the signs throughout the district to make people realize, wait, is Mike Bost trying to close my hospital? Because that's the only way you're going to make them think. If you think you're going to get them into Fox News bubble and all that, no. They need to know that their hospital is closing because of their Republican congressman's action. So I might start doing a political action committee to try to get 10,000 signs to put in this congressional district to make people know that Mike Bost voted to shut down their hospitals. Okay, that's the only way that you're gonna get through to people. Adventure, let's see, I can't see the rest of the name, but Adventure Trail, maybe. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate your analysis. Democrats need to work locally and get the corporate money out of politics. Dems' future tagline to win. Yeah, I mean, they do. I'm working on a video for my history channel now. So I do have another one. I'm working on the video right now. I have not been really diligent with doing my videos, but I am working on a new one. So if you are into the history of elections, I have a channel called Election History. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe to it now. I've done a number of these. I'll be getting back to it. I've just been focusing so much on this election. But see now, Afton Bain, 47.9 now. So yeah, so it's going to be even closer. Wow. So anyway, I've been doing, my next video is going to be about the Howard Dean 2004 campaign. And you got to realize how much money you can actually get out of politics with small donations. Bernie Sanders, right? Look at him. All right. I mean, I have a feeling they'll be calling it soon. Let's see what we got out. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get I'm sure they're going to call. Okay, Benton County's done. Cheatham, I guess County, almost done. Davidson still has some precincts out. Decatur done. Dixon almost done. Hickman, not almost done. That'll be more Republican votes. Houston done. Humphreys halfway done. Smaller county. Montgomery, Perry done. Robertson, like halfway done. Well, a little less than halfway done. Stewart done. Wayne done. Williamson done. Basically, one precinct left. Okay, let's see if we can get something here. Now, yeah, see, I was hoping there's still, if these are, let's go over to, have they called it yet? No, they haven't. Let's go over to the precinct map because they still have precincts here in very, very blue area. But here's Clarksville. So we're talking about here, Clarksville. So let's look at this. Kamala Harris won this precinct with 60%. She won this one 50 to 49. This one 54-44, 53-45, 50-49, 55-43. This might be close. I still think Van Epps is going to win. But the problem we have with both of these counties is we don't know, and this is not 90. See, so like this is saying, here we go. So this is saying 95% of the votes in, unless, wait, the Davidson County numbers, let's see, election day. No, 49 to 58. Is that 49? 49 and 57. So 49 and 50. That's not 90. See, this is what I'm saying. That's not 95% of the votes in. So I don't know where they get this shit from. That is not 95% of the votes. So the rest of the areas we have in might be Democratic areas, which I still think Van Epps wins this thing. Okay, where did those come from? I don't know. Could we see? I mean, Nate Cohn, who he's okay. He's not like that guy from not like that guy from CNN, that Enton guy or whatever. Oh God, that guy is horrible to watch. He's just like, here's a screen with some numbers. I will tell you what the numbers say. He doesn't know anything. I'll give Cracky Kornacki, I'll give Steve Kornacki some credit. And I call him Cracky Kornacki because he does act like he's on crack. Anyway, he's gotten better with his numbers. I'll give him credit there. So let's go to the counties. Yeah, so see, I don't know. Let's see. Nashville 30 to 7. 30 to 7. So they're saying that's 95% done. That is not nearly 95% done. And just like what we have right there, the New York Times does not know what precincts these are. Right? All right, let's go ahead. Go back here. So Benton's done. Cheatham, I don't know. Done. Davidston still has a few. Decatur done. Dixon essentially done. Hickman still has some more. And it's like counties like these that'll keep him ahead. Houston done. Humphreys halfway done. Montgomery still 18 precincts out. Perry done. Robertson halfway done. So that's not going to help her. Afton Bain a lot. Stewart essentially done. Wayne done. Williamson essentially done. So Williamson we're not going to be getting more out of. 61 to 38. So we had, I think, a 4% swing there because it was 65-33. Yeah, let's see how close it can be. Oh, there's a little bit of a slip. Where was that from? Oh, is that? Or no, that's what we had before. All right. Because, yeah, now I'm just at the point of how close can this get? I mean, if somehow she keeps Van Epps under 52%. There's something about a number being at 51%, right? There's just something about a number being at 51% that makes you say, wow, that was close. So yeah. Yeah, we'll see what keeps on. Okay, let's go back to the counties. Do a reload on this. See if we can get any idea. Okay. Davidson still. Decatur done. Dixon 1. Hickman doesn't look. Houston done. A lot of these. Montgomery's still 18 out. Perry done. Um, Wayne. Williamson. That looks like the same amount of numbers. I mean, this is not a win for the Democrats. It's obviously a loss, but and this is the thing that I really don't like about politics is that we've and so, but I'm glad you worded it that way. Is it like a win or a positive for Democrats? Yes, definitely. So I'd say it's a positive for the Democrats. But one of the things that like a lot of MAGA people like to do is they only look at winners losers. They don't look at I can't speak. They don't look at margins. Okay. So if some MAGA person predicts that Donald Trump would win the presidential election by 35%, and some Democrat said Kamala Harris would win it by 1, a lot of MAGA people say, oh, that person was right because he picked Donald Trump, even though he was 34% off or 33% off what the percentage was. And that's unfortunate. We're getting, because of this whole betting market bullshit that we have now, we're getting into people becoming really, we're getting a lot of dumb people into political numbers, which fucking sucks. There you go. So they went ahead and declared him the winner. So, expect as soon as we saw Williamson County come in, it just wasn't as strong. It was like, yeah, it was like he wasn't going to win. I'm going to go look and see. I don't believe that none of the local news channels are doing any live stream of, none of the local Nashville news channels are doing any live streams of the election. That kind of surprises me. Yeah, because I would have liked to have heard what she said. Yeah, so I mean, him winning is not a surprise. I don't think. But I still am at a point where I want to see how close this thing can get. Predicting the 2030 midterms. I mean, oh, will there even be 2026 midterms? So, yeah, I mean, if you're the Democrats, this is a really good showing. I just want to see. But, here's another thing too, because it was a special election. And this goes back to what I was saying a few minutes ago about rural voters. Again, I live in rural America. Okay, I'm from the suburbs of Chicago originally. I've lived in cities, but I've lived in rural America too. My family's from rural Northeast Mississippi, Tishomingo County. It can't get more rural and southern than that. I mean, actually, Tishomingo County might be not far from where this is. So, like, this district goes all the way down to here, right here. So this is where this district goes to, the 7th Congressional District. My family is from right here. Okay. As a matter of fact, precinct where my family's from. Okay. Show you how my family is from Belmont, Mississippi. Okay. My dad's side of the family. As you can see, 93% voted for Donald Trump there. Okay. So in the counties around where I live, Franklin County, 75%, Washington County, 78%, Perry County, 75%, Williamson County, Illinois, 69%. I know rural Trump voters. I know them. I know what they look for. And I think one of the problems that the Democratic Party has is they're relying on a bunch of people who have maybe driven through rural America to help with rural American voters. That's not going to work. But let's see what happens here. Now it's getting close to 53. And I just want to see how close it can get. But let me see. You don't want to do the Fox News in Nashville, but it's like, hold on. See if they're doing a live stream of it. No. They're not doing a live stream. Oh, well. So live streams are probably going to be on the big networks, MSNBC, CNN, and Crazy People Network. All right, let me go ahead and look at some of the chat that we have here. And yeah, for the rest of today, or the stream right now, just going to kind of see how close it can get. I just want to see what the numbers are with Davidson coming in. And okay, Montgomery is 100% in now. So what did she do? Is that with 22? That's what they did, isn't it? Yeah. So that's what they did. They called it as soon as Montgomery came in, saw that she couldn't flip it. And that's what it is. But let's look at this. 58, 3. Okay. Let's look at her number. 39 to 45. So it's a 6% swing. 6% swing for the Democrats. Okay. So he'll probably, with Davidson coming in, maybe it stays around here, maybe gets into 52 point something. Doesn't look like it's going to get into 51. Okay. So the swing wasn't there as much, but it still was decent. Let's go down here so we can see what we have as far as swing. Look at Nashville. Nashville was huge. Okay. 25-point swing. Montgomery County, 10-point swing. And even these rural counties, we see Dixon County, we see a 12-point swing. So yeah, I mean, I came into this being like, tonight, I came into this election being like, I don't know what could happen, because I don't know what happens on election day. The numbers looked good, but they still geographically looked like they would be Republican. Okay. There just wasn't enough from Nashville going on. There wasn't, like, when we were looking at Virginia, we were like in Virginia in the governor's race, just Fairfax County just was pushing out more and more and more voters. Like the other counties were just not doing as much. Fairfax County was just like cramming those voters in. And that's the reason that we saw that. Didn't really see that here in Tennessee. But what does this tell us overall? Okay. Overall, this tells us maybe districts that are 20% gaps. Okay. Where the Republicans are up by 10%, hovering around 60% in the southern part of the United States, are maybe not districts that we should be going for. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and exit out of this. Go ahead and look at the district map. But districts such as Ogle's district at 57, you see that they've gerrymandered Tennessee so damn much. It's ridiculous. The one state to watch is North Carolina. So they gerrymandered the hell out of North Carolina, but they made a lot of 55-45 seats in North Carolina. That if you just have a 5% swing, it gets close, or the Democrats could be competitive in them. Okay. So yeah. All right. So I probably won't wait until the end. So let's actually, I do want to go back. What did we have? 322,000 votes. So we had half of the turnout that we had in a regular presidential election year in this district. 50% of 50% of a turnout of that, it's not bad. I don't think that's bad at all. But you can now see from this how you can see how it was the I-24 corridor right here where they really started to concentrate in. Let's go ahead and look and see if we have any more numbers from. So we have any more numbers from Davidson, 49.57. So yeah, I mean, this number will go down a little bit more, but see, he's increasing some. So when Davidson comes in, it might get into 52. I don't even know. So now you got to ask yourself, 45.1%. I think this was 38 even. Okay. So you're talking about a 7% increase for the Democrats. Okay. You take that. I think you take that. And this was deep red Tennessee. Now, again, with Afton Bain, what do you do with her? Do you make her a national figure? Do you make her a person to focus on Tennessee? Because I'll tell you the truth. As of right now, I mean, we could work to get Tennessee to become more Democratic, but I think it's kind of worthless right now. Okay. Tennessee is kind of a lost cause for the time being. I think, and I guess the question is, whose side is she going to go on? Is she at the national level going to be a DNC darling, or is she going to be an Our Revolution, Bernie Sanders type of darling with that movement? I think Afton Bain is now going to have to pick or choose which side she's going to want to be on. I don't think she can't run for any. If she lost this congressional district, she's not going to win in a regular midterm. Okay. And in this map that I showed you right here of if there's just a 5% swing over to the Democrats compared to 2024, okay, I still have the district here, the 7th, as being strongly red. Right? So this is even with that district strongly red. The Democrats can do well in the midterm elections. But the question at this point is how do you use her? How do you make her an effective person? Okay. I don't know. I guess that's for the people to be to decide. Now, of course, the Republicans are going to say this was some major great victory, which it was it was a win. I mean, it was technically a win, but it wasn't. You're under 55%. Okay, you're under 55% in a R plus 10 district. I mean, she obviously is a state representative. It'd be good for her to be obviously focusing on state politics because that's what she does. I hate to say this. I don't want to waste a talent like that on state politics in Tennessee. But she has no choice. The good thing about Afton Bain is she's in a very safe state house district in East Nashville. So therefore, if she wanted to take the national route and just stay as an elected member of the Tennessee House of Representatives, she can do that. She can still be a national figure. What's going to be interesting is to see how much money was fundraised by her campaign in how much money she was able to bring in, how many volunteers she was able to bring in. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. So, Bain can run for mayor of Nashville, yes. And I think we're coming to the point now where being a mayor is really starting to become a higher profile position. Okay, obviously Zoran Mamdani, uh, but if you look at like Florida, Donna Deegan in Jacksonville, she's probably one of the highest profile, if not the highest profile Democrat in the state of Florida, which isn't saying much, but it's still true. And this is where Democrats need to focus on. The Democrats need to focus on these smaller, maybe nonpartisan races, okay, like Jacksonville mayor, Seattle mayor, Miami mayor, which is 1 week from now. We're going to be doing a live stream about the Miami election. Okay. So this is what the Democrats need to do. And this is where I actually think Ken Martin has done a pretty decent job, is by actually focusing on these lower races. Because as I mentioned earlier, the only reason why Democrats are losing in places like the district that we see, the gerrymander that is happening, is because in the 1990s, the Democrats focused so much on Bill Clinton and Al Gore to win the presidency, they just totally forgot or just totally ignored legislative seats. Look at what happened in Florida. Florida flipped, okay, and it flipped big time, and then all these other southern states followed. Yeah, Eileen Higgins is running in Miami. It's a nonpartisan race technically, okay, but it is a Republican versus Democrat. And it does look like Eileen Higgins is in a position to win. Now, I'm going to get a little inside baseball here. This is one of the biggest problems that we have in the Democratic Party. The Eileen Higgins race is a really big problem. Now, again, this is a little more inside baseball. There is what's the name? I'm having a brain fart here. There is a Netflix director from Miami, and he did like Cocaine Cowboys or something like that. Oh, Billy Corbin. That's it. Billy Corbin. Okay. So one of the problems that we have in Florida is that you have a number of people who say that they are Democratic. Okay. They're Democrats, but are reluctant to support Eileen Higgins because her political consultant is somebody named Christian Ulvert. And there are a lot of people in Democratic politics in Florida, rightfully so, who do not like Christian Ulvert, present company included. But they're letting the whole Christian Ulvert thing decide if they want to support Eileen Higgins or just stay out of the race. They're not supporting a Republican, but just staying out of the race. And this is a big problem when it comes to Democratic Party politics, is that we're like, nope, we're not going to support the Democratic candidate because that Democratic candidate has the wrong political consultant running their race. And it's just like, really, this is where you want to go. This is how you're going to do it. So this is a problem in Democratic Party politics. So just want to give you a little inside baseball there to say how the Miami mayor's race goes. Now, for the voters, it doesn't care. But the problem is you have a lot of talented people on the sidelines in the Miami mayor's race because they just don't want to work with Christian Ulvert. But there's a point where you're like, okay, even though Christian Ulvert I don't like him. I think he's a piece of shit. But, even though Christian Ulvert is like that, okay, you're going to support the Republican just because you don't like the consultant on the Democratic side. It's like, so yeah, it's just, this is the reason why I left politics and I want to just do YouTube and do numbers on YouTube, because I hate the political bullshit. So Christian Olvert. So he is, just look up Christian Olvert. I mean, hell, I can probably here. I'll show you Christian Olvert here. Edge communication. So yeah, you can look him up. What do you mean so much cope from me? I said that Van Epps was going to win. I mean, so the district was never plus 22. The district was plus 10. This election is plus 4. People, figure it out. So, yeah, so this is Christian Olvert. So yeah, just where is it? Yeah, you can just look at him, but yeah, he's got a lot of he's got a lot of connections in Miami-Dade County politics, as well as money from Dubai and other things there too. So it's like a political consultant pissing contest, to be honest. Yeah, like the only thing I'm really waiting for is to see what Davidson does, and Davidson hasn't really come in. Um, so yeah, I mean, this was a decent night for Democrats. Actually, this was not bad. It's not what we saw in Virginia. It's not what we saw in New Jersey, and we have to ask ourselves, okay, why did we have these big swings in those states, but we're not seeing it in Tennessee? There are going to be different types of people as far as the electorate is concerned there. So, you know, this gives us a little bit of a geographical idea of where Democrats should focus. Honestly, if after this election, it's like any little hope that you had of focusing on Arkansas, Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. No, just don't do it. Okay. If you can't win this one, you're not going to win anything there. But I mean, Georgia, I mean, the Georgia races, I mean, remember we had that public service race there. Those are really, really good. So yeah. Um, I think ground games. So somebody says no ground games. I think ground games are over. Nobody loves anything more than somebody knocking on their door in the middle of the day and talking to them. I think ground game, and I'm someone who specialized in field. I think ground game in 2025, ground game's more detrimental unless you're maybe the candidate themselves. Um, Bigger swing here than in Virginia, Wisconsin, or New Jersey. Well, it wasn't. I mean, no, because in so I'd have to look at New Jersey, but no, the swing had to have been bigger in Virginia because Glenn Youngkin was the winner last time, so the Democrat lost. So thank you for the super chat. I don't know about New Jersey though. Yeah, because Wisconsin didn't they have they had the Supreme Court race there, right? Or no. Pennsylvania had the Supreme Court race. So yeah, so let's go ahead. Okay, now all of Davidson County's in. And let's see. All of Davidson's in. 9580. 9580. Okay, 32,000. $32,000. Yeah, so it didn't those must have been smaller precincts that were still out in Nashville, because that didn't really do anything. So Remember, this isn't Republican versus Democrat, it's Confederate versus Union. Um, yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, it really is. Um, I do believe that. I mean, you see people in the North with Confederate flags. You don't see the Confederate flags as much, but it's like this is one of the only countries that proudly displays flags of groups of people who tried to overthrow them. I think that that is ridiculous, but it is what it is. Um, I mean, so now that the election is over, we have to look and see where the gains were, where the losses were. So what we can say here is, in fact, let's look at these right now while we're at it. Okay, so Nashville was 67 because we essentially are done for the night. Nashville was 67% a year ago. Now it is 78%. Okay, so that's an 11% swing. If we look at Montgomery County, Afton Bain got 45% and Megan Barry got 39%. Okay, so 6% swing. Now, if we go over to Williamson County, 38% for Afton Bain and 33% for Megan Barry. So a 5% swing. Let's look at some of these more rural counties here. Stewart County, smaller county, 76% for Van Epps. Or let's look at the Democratic number, 23% for Bain, 18% for Megan Barry. I mean, overall, there was a swing. Like you see all the counties, there was a swing to the Democratic side. I guess the question becomes, now we do have to ask the question, right? The question now becomes, if this had been a regular midterm election without all the money being poured into this, would Afton Bain actually been competitive? Might not have. One of the reasons why she might have been competitive here is because there was so much media on it and it was so laser focused that no matter what you saw, no matter where you lived, you were reading, watching, listening about the Tennessee 7th, that if this were in a regular midterm election, it would just be drowned out by the other races. That could happen, but there is an example of where maybe it might not happen. So let's get to this district map. And let's look at the California 3rd Congressional District here. Okay, so this was the district that Lauren Boebert was running in against Adam Frisch. Adam Frisch, I think, almost beat her. I mean, it was really, really close. Adam Frisch almost beat her, but then he ran again. Once all of a sudden, Boebert came over here to the 4th Congressional District after Ken Buck retired. Then Jeff Hurd ran for the Republican Party, and everyone thought, okay, now it's going to be a big split. It's going to go back to being strongly Republican because Lauren Boebert's out of there. But Adam Frisch still was close, 46-51. Okay, so this district has seen a shift because of Adam Frisch actually investing the last 4 years in building that district to become more Democratic. So you see districts like this, and there are possibilities of saying, hey, let's turn some lemons into lemonade. And the Colorado 3rd is definitely a district that, we can look at. So somebody just said, I saw it here, Spanberger improved way less in rural Virginia. Right. That's the problem that the Democrat, I mean, we are seeing improvements here in the Democratic vote and rural Tennessee in a special election. But to me right now, the rural vote is just not, to be quite honest with you, the rural vote is just not going the Democrats' way. Okay. Again, I live in rural America. These people have not shifted at all. And a lot of them think that if if you talk about something if they say something and you prove them wrong with facts and logic and reason, then they say it's a Democrat hoax. Okay. Anything that they have, they deflect it away with either a conspiracy theory or just saying it's a lie. They don't, the people out here just do not change their minds with any new information. That's going to be a hard nut to crack. Okay. Um, so, it's just not going to happen. People still have Trump signs out here. Okay. People still have Trump signs out here. And apparently he can't run for a third term, but what, I guess the Constitution does not matter anymore. But yeah, let me go ahead and look, and we're going to go ahead and close out here in a few minutes. So yeah, so sadly, a lot of ignorance. Yes. I mean, my precinct, let me extremely detailed. My precinct, and I'm going to look it up over here, not to, dox myself as far as what precinct I'm in. My precinct Donald Trump won 76% to Kamala Harris's 23%. Now, I was one of those 23%. Here. So yeah. So, I mean, I know, like I said, I showed you where my family's from earlier in Tishomingo County. That went Belmont, Mississippi. What was that? 93%. As a matter of fact, I want to see Belmont, Mississippi had 64. Okay. 93% to 6 with only 64% or 64 votes for Kamala Harris. And like I know 3 of those votes. Okay. So I actually know in that precinct, I know 5% of the voters because they're related to me in that precinct. Okay. So Pedram Escari, thank you if I pronounce it right. Thank you very much. We should never have expected for Bain to win. This margin of victory for the GOP was a disaster. Hopefully the Dems continue demolishing Trump. Yes. Yes. Because I look at it this way. Is this a win? No, it's not a win. I mean, it's technically a loss. Because and this is okay. If people notice on my channel, let me go ahead and go to my YouTube channel here. Let's see. This is my election history channel, but let me go over to my regular YouTube channel here. Okay. This is why I did this Gallup poll video. Not many people have watched it. Go ahead and watch it if you haven't watched it yet. This is the reason I did this Gallup poll video. Because everyone's like, Trump 36% approval rating and all. And I said, hey, this is not unusual. Harry Truman had a 22% approval rating. Nixon was in the 20s. Johnson was in the 20s. Reagan was in the 30s. Bill Clinton was in the 40s. I think, no, he was even in the 30s, I thought. Carter was in the 30s, right? That these low approval ratings aren't some sort of anomaly or outlier. The only outlier was that Trump has never been above 50%, but yet he still won 2 terms as president, right? So I always try to throw caution to the wind, and everyone was like, oh, Afton Payne can win this thing. And I'm like, I don't know. And anyone saying that they know that she could win, unless they had some very precise data on the exact voters who had turned out to vote on election day, they don't know. They don't know at all. Okay. And I always try to throw caution to the wind and say, hey, yes, you're hearing these good numbers, but come back a little bit. I want you to see that they're not necessarily what you think, and just regroup and focus on the prize, right? For Democrats to win. I mean, I'm obviously on the Democratic side. And that's another thing. People think that you need to somehow be impartial when it comes to numbers. No, I'm very, very partial, but I also look at the numbers in an analytical way. Okay. So you don't want to fall into a trap in thinking that you're going to overachieve and then you get knocked back into reality. That's kind of what happened tonight. So yeah, I mean, That's it. So I'm going to go ahead and end tonight. Thank you all very much for joining me. Now, I am going to be doing Miami next week. It's not as big. Maybe the news will start talking about it, but it is a big one because it'll be the first time a real progressive has won if Eileen Higgins wins. And on top of that, it will be the first non-Cuban American to be mayor of Miami since 1993, 1992, 1993, and only the second non-Cuban born American since that time too. Francis Suarez right now, the mayor of Miami-Dade, his father was born in Cuba, but he was born, I think, in Miami, but he was born in the United States. So it will be a historic election as well. So we're going to go ahead and end tonight. But if it overall, if you're the Democrats and you're looking at this, the election results tonight, they were fine. They weren't great like other people were pumping them up to be. And I just had this feeling that this wasn't going to be a win. But again, like I said, I don't know what happens on election day because neither do you, neither did anyone except the people working at the election offices. We didn't know what was happening. The early numbers look good, but they didn't look like they would be winning. Okay. The precincts look good, but they didn't look like enough that would push Bain over the top. She needed to be at least up by quite a bit, and she just wasn't. But overall, good result. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day wherever it is you are. I will see you in a week from now. I mean, I'll be making more videos tomorrow, but I will see you in a week from now for a live stream on the Miami election. Thank you all for joining me. Have a good one. It's been 3 hours. We'll see you later.